Today's video we're taking a look at pearljam, and this is Yellow Ledbetter, and it's from the recent performance they did on the Howard Stern show. So what Mike does, he demonstrates playing the intro of Yellow Ledbetter quickly for Howard, and that's what we're going to break down today and talk a little bit about the theory behind it. So I'll play it a couple of times and then we'll break it down. Alright, cool. So straight away what it is, it's just three major chords. We've got an E major chord, but we're taking, so it's the A form. You can think of the A form bar chord for E major, but we're doing the inversion. So it's the first inversion, so the root's going in the bass. So you can think of your triad on the 9th fret on the D, G and B strings. And then there's your major third on the 11th fret of the A. And then the next chord, then it goes to the 5 chord, so it's a 1, 5, 4. So it's E major, and then it goes to B major. So there's your B major bar chord if you're doing this. But what Mike's demonstrating is he's playing it with his thumb on it like Stevie Ray and Hendrix, in order to get some of them little licks and lines underneath the chord. And then after the B chord it moves to A major, so we just come a whole step back and we do the same thing for A. So first of all, straight off the bat, it starts with an open E, and then what we do, we're going to play into that major third, we're going to hammer into that third on the A string, so it's 9 to 11 on the A, so open E. And then straight away you can think of your first finger on this triad, the D, G and B, and we're going to pluck that triad, we're going to like stab it, and this is like really Hendrix vibe stuff. And you can get two strings, you get the D and the G, or you can get the D, G and the B. Try not to get the high E. And then what we do next, so we're keeping that first finger there, and remember right here in this spot is the E major pentatonic. So everything we've got over here we can play with, these notes, it's all out of the E major pentatonic. So we've got, and then we move down to the G and the B strings. Remember this first finger's got them barred. We move down to the G and the B, and we pluck them, both of them strings, and we do a hammer on pull off, carefully not touching the B string with this ring finger. So hammer on pull off with one pick, and then we move back up and we pluck the D and the G strings, and we do a hammer on into that 11th fret of the D, and that's how we finish that first phrase. Hammer on pull off, G and B strings. Remember this is staying barred across this triad at all times, and we're picking two strings at a time. And then we move up to the D and the G, and we pick, hammer in to that 11th fret on the D string. Let's watch the video. Cool, so straight away after thumb comes over and we grab the B, which is the 7th fret of the low E. That's our root for our B major chord. Now when playing this chord and doing these tricks, you can just think of, again, we thought of this triad on the D, G and B strings for the E, so we're going to think of this same triad here for the B major. So that's root, third, fifth, and then we could just reach over and grab our thumb on the low E. And we want to be trying to mute, if you can, the A string, which is the fifth, with the top of this finger, or your thumb if your thumb's big enough. And what Mike does here is he plays the chord, but he's hammering on to this 9th fret on the high E. That's the 2. So you can add that in when you're doing this kind of chord, and it sounds really nice. And then he brings his pinky up and he plays again. Then what he does is he plays the sus, which is the 9th fret of the G string. Always keeping this shape on. So you can play around. So when you get your pinky on that 9th fret of the G, so it's similar to sort of Little Wing stuff by Hendrix. It's good practice if you've not done this grip practice, just to hold this grip and mess around with your little finger. On the high E, you can do it on the B string. Any of them will work for this tune. And then he goes into the A. You can do any of the tricks on A, but Mike on this demonstration chooses to just play the chord, sticks in a bit of muting. And every live performance I've watched of this, he's played this song different. So it doesn't matter if we're not doing it note for note. As long as you get the meat and potatoes of this and you kind of understand the theory behind it, you'll be able to come up with your own kind of practice from it. It's really good. It's a really good tune to learn how to play and to learn some theory as well. It can really teach you a lot about the neck. So really slow. Kind of slides the chord back, plays the open E, the low E string, and that takes you back to the E chord, where he does a couple of little tricks back up here, and then it goes back to the beginning. So what he does there, the open E, just plays around with the major pentatonic. So again, he's got his finger, you can put your finger back on that triad like when we started, the D, G and B strings, and you can hammer on. You can play the G and the B strings, or you can play just the B, and you can do a hammer on pull off to the 12th fret, or just a pull off. I think what Mike does in this, he just does a pull off. So you've got the triad on and then a pull off from the 12th fret B, and you're playing this note here, which is the major third. Straight away after that, you can play the G string on the 11th fret, so it's just, you know, you're playing the scale. And then you can do that hammer on pull off double stop with the G and the B. And you can come back up to this note on the D string on the 11th. So back to the beginning. So let's play it all right through really slowly. Good for your caged practice. If you're just at a stage where you're learning triads, and I've got a caged playlist, I'll link it in the description below. You can mess around just with your triads with these 3 chords, because remember the melody of this tune, it just floats around them 3 chords. So you've got your E triad to B to A back to E. that's a nice way to practice it if you're just doing your triads and you want to start learning this grip. So we can do our E triad, the A-shaped triad, but just play the open E. And then thumb on the B and just put that triad down, thumb on the B. And the same for A. Open E. Alright, have some fun with that. If you've got any questions and if you want me to dig in deeper to this sort of thing, just drop a few comments in, and I'll see you lot tomorrow.